Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Conversation this Wednesday morning. Good morning, Libby. It's great to be back. I have missed being with you on Wednesday mornings. It's been a little bit of a break, and I'm glad to be back. Good morning, Libby and Carrie and Dottie. Thanks so much for joining us this morning for Coffee and Conversation. Good morning, Tina. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning here in the Cleveland area. It is January 13th, actually is my best friend's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mary. Yeah, it's great to be back, and we made it through 2020, so woohoo! We made it. We survived a crazy year, and I think 2021 is maybe going to be like March, coming like a lion, hopefully go out like a lamb. So yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks. Had wonderful holidays and some great moments and some great experiences during the holidays. A little bit, scaled back like the rest of us, but still a wonderful time to celebrate the birth of our Lord. Good morning, Gina. Thanks for joining us for Coffee and Conversation this morning with Millie Prebel. I have my host coffee and conversation mug this morning, and it was a funny story. You've seen them now Monday and Tuesday, and it was kind of funny because I got this idea to sort of share these mugs as a little gift to my co-hosts, and so I went on Shutterfly and I kind of downloaded some graphics, and I did the whole deal, and I ordered the mugs, and I figured the ones for Libby and Amy and Greg I could just hand deliver myself, but I thought with Carrie, well, let me just ship it straight to her. So I did that. I kind of got her address and I shipped it straight to her, and it said on December 24th that it was received. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I kind of waited and I thought, gosh, why isn't she saying anything? And I realized I didn't put a gift, card or nothing in there, just sort of appeared out of nowhere. And good morning, Amy. So I messaged her and I said, hey, did you get something from Shutterfly? And she goes, yeah, I did. And she sent me this picture of her, holding her mug. And she says, oh my gosh, was that from you? She goes, I asked Amy and Greg and Libby. I called them and I thanked them profusely for the mug, and they had no idea what I was talking about. So I said, well, yeah, that's because it was for me. She's like, oh, thank you so much. And I said, well, I guess now Amy and Libby and Greg know what they're getting for Christmas. So it wasn't a surprise, but it was kind of a funny story. So, and I know they are working on a Coffee and Conversation mug for the viewers. So you'll be able to get in on the mug giveaway too here. So good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Good morning, Amy and Gina and Cindy. It's great to be back with you. So yeah, the beginning of a new year, and well, of course, it's already the 13th. So I'm sure by now you've sort of been inundated by, new year, new you, and goals, and all these things that the new year brings. And yes, it's certainly a time for reflection, but to have a 2021 game plan in place and to be locked in and have it all figured out is just more of the same from last year of trying to figure out how to navigate through 2020. So honestly, the pressure to have a game plan really, I give you permission to take that pressure off. So I can write you a note if you need one. So whether you're a goal setter or not, I think it's definitely a change of season, definitely a time for reflection, and at the very least to perhaps just take some time and think about the lessons that last year taught us. Think about some of the things that that you changed that you want to keep, some of the things that you changed that you might not want to keep, and how do we, put some pieces in place to navigate through 2021 better, in a better position than what we left. So if you think about some of the things, I don't know if you want to share some of the things that, you liked about 2020 that you're going to keep, or some of the things that you didn't like so much that you're going to let go of. But I know for me, it was a time to really reflect on what mattered, to take heart of relationships in my life, to be purposeful and intentional on maintaining and growing those relationships. So that's definitely something I'm going to be carrying into 2021. a few things I'm going to leave out from 2020, but so yeah, so for full disclosure, I actually back in Beauty World when I was teaching around the country, I taught goal setting classes. So I had the PowerPoints, the action plans, the notes, I mean, the whole nine. I had all of it. And of course, I would break down the different areas of life, family, health, spirituality, all that stuff. And then I would take each one and have you write like 3 points in one, and then 5 action plans, and then sort of assemble sort of a goal setting plan moving forward. But for me, this year or even the last several years, maybe it's my age, maybe it's stepping away from, a secular position. Last year, I haven't really thought about, big, huge goals for the year. And I did have one, though. I wanted to finish my book by the end of the year, which I did. So praise be to God for that. So yeah, if you're joining me this morning, I'm kind of talking about some things about how to, maybe think about goals in a different way, maybe some different steps to take, and not necessarily having to have it all figured out already. So for me, again, I just think, praying and reflecting on this season, the readings this past year, I guess I'm thinking more about who I want to be than what I want to do. So again, who I want to be, then what I want to be in and what I want to do in goals. So I guess that's kind of goal oriented, but with a little bit of a different spin on it. And instead of a to-do list, maybe having a to-be list. So that kind of gives a little bit of a different feel to it. If you think about, one of my mentors used to always say, "What could you be if you knew you couldn't fail?" To kind of step out there in faith and only learn and grow, no failure, only positive forward movement. And so that's my question, I guess. Who do you want to be this year, instead of what do you want to do, and what are all these goals and all these action steps and all that? I think it really, we have to be more firmly rooted in our being than our doing. So think about, if I want to be healthy, what does that look like? What are some habits of a healthy person? What are some of the things that a healthy, healthy traits of a being a healthy person? Perhaps I want to be a better communicator. I want to be a good communicator, and maybe I want to be a better friend, or a better wife, a better mother, or a better sister. And again, looking at what are some of the traits of those, those personalities, those beings, when I say who I want to be, and what are some of the things that I can do to improve in those areas? Not just writing myself a list of things to do, but maybe an action plan of workshops or readings or seminars, or having an accountability partner if I'm looking for a more healthy path forward. So a lot of different things. The desire to improve in certain areas of our lives should be grounded in who we want to be. And then we can begin to step in to the learning and the growth available to help us develop these healthy traits. So yeah, so again, grounding ourselves first in who we are, instead of the do and perhaps the mindless doing. So that's kind of my thoughts on goal setting and thinking about who we want to be this next year. So many of last year I retired, and the decision to retire was really it was difficult. It was kind of prayerful, and I decided to really discern moving forward what that looked like. And I had to decide, really honestly. I had been in school for the last 5 years, and it almost felt like I was straddling both worlds, like I was half in the secular world and half in my, ministry world. And so this last, year, when salons were shut down, of course, I had that moment where it was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? My whole being, was wrapped up in what I did. So it was a little bit of a sort of a, uncertain and ambiguous time for me, thinking, well, if I'm not what I do, who am I? So I had to really, look at deciding maybe, to step into this role that I've been preparing for. And, the role that I was studying for, and the role that I was unsure that I was truly fit for, good enough for, or worthy of. So I really had to decide to step into what God was calling me to be, not just to do. And, we all at some point have to step in to that role, that, whatever that looks like for you. And so, stepping into who God truly called us to be. So I'm sure that's no coincidence that just happens to be the message of Let Me Be Ministries, to be all God, created you to be. And yeah, we're all uniquely called with the gifts that are bestowed on us in our very makeup when He knit us in our mother's womb. And, then we're, anointed with these gifts at baptism, and then they're strengthened in confirmation. So at the depths of who we truly are in God's eyes, we are called and anointed and gifted, whatever you want to call it. But there is a call on all of our lives for who we are designed to be, not just designed to do. So, that call from our Creator to live fully into who He designed us to be, not who we, create and decide and think that we know best. So, so I guess my message is, to put away the fear and the self-doubt. It really doesn't serve anyone to play small, to not shine your gifts into the world, and to be that light, that part of the grander scheme of being God's light in the world. So, so those are some of my thoughts this morning. I was looking actually for something else on my desk, and my desk always has a sort of a rotating pile of papers that I sort of have working on and need to put away. And I don't know if anybody else has that kind of thing going on their desk, but I do. So I happened to find this this paper that was printed out from my spiritual director, who knows quite well about all my insecurities and doubts. And it's from Marianne Williamson, from the book of Return to Love. And I may have shared this before, but it's worth sharing again. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be this brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission to other people to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So, I just loved that quote. And of course, I've seen it several times, but it just God always places it in my life to pop up at, the most opportune times when I need to hear it. So I don't know, maybe somebody else needed to hear that this morning. So if I shared that and you needed to hear it, but even if, you have that down in your soul, maybe share that with someone else, invite someone else to, as Carrie said yesterday, to watch these podcasts. If there's some value for you in it, and you feel that someone else in your circle might benefit from having these words and these encouragements from those of us that are in this whole community, because it is a whole community of who we are in faith and real life. So I don't want to be the one that played small and that had the fears and doubts that overrode my gifts and my talents and the abilities that I have and the call to share those abilities with the world. So, what is there to lose, right? There's, actually there's nothing and there's everything, which I think that is the point. There's nothing to lose and everything to lose. So yeah, I've been praying the rosary daily for, gosh, probably about 3 months straight now. One of my friends, as I said, Lydia Williams on Facebook, she's been doing the daily rosary, and I join her every day. I mean, I think I missed maybe 2 days in the whole 90 plus that she's been doing it online, but it has really been a blessing just to take that time, whether it's in the middle of the afternoon or sometimes she does it in the morning or the evening. I always go back to it before I go to bed, at my evening prayer, and I play that rosary and I say it out loud and I hold the rosary and I squeeze the beads and I set my intentions, and it just has really been such a blessing. In my life, and I think meditating on the mysteries of the rosary really it has so much richness to offer us. And I know a lot of some people just have never connected with Mary or the rosary, and I was probably one of those people, I have to admit, for a long time. But yeah, once I actually sat down and made it a practice, it's been amazing. So the one virtue I've been meditating on lately has been the one of spiritual poverty. And I just think that is a really great one to remember in our faith walk, that, just Lord, take it all, so that I know I need you and that I have to seek you and that I can trust you. So that's kind of my thoughts today, just to step into who you are designed to be, not necessarily what you are to do by listing a bunch of tasks to check off your day. so, so yeah, Amy said, I've heard people say to remember we are human beings, not human doings. Exactly. That's a great point. So just to end, I wanted to share a quick little story that I saw on the one of the social media feeds. But it had a picture of this beautiful woman. She was probably in her 80s, very elegantly dressed, her hair coiffed, and, just lovely, lovely woman. And it says, the beautiful, well-versed 83-year-old lady, fully dressed every morning at 8 a.m. sharp, with her hair done in fashion and perfectly applied makeup, is moving to a retirement home. Her husband recently died, which motivated her more. After many hours of patiently waiting in the hall of the home, she smiled sweetly when told her room was ready. As she moved her walker toward the elevator, she was given a detailed description of her small room, including the curtains hanging from her window. I love it, she said, with the enthusiasm of an 8-year-old girl who was just handed a new pet. Mrs. Jones, you haven't even seen the room yet. Just wait. She said it doesn't matter. Happiness is something that you decide over time. Whether or not I like my room doesn't depend on how the furniture arranged. It depends on how I arrange my mind. I had already decided that I liked it. It's a decision I make every morning when I wake up. I have the choice. I can spend the day in bed going through the difficulty I have with my body parts that don't work, or get out of bed and be thankful for the parts that do work. Every day is a gift. And as long as my eyes are open, I will focus on the new day and the happy memories I've stored just for this time in life. Happiness is like a bank account. You withdraw from it what you deposit. So my advice would be to deposit a lot of happiness in your memory account. So remember these 5 simple things. Free your heart from hate and discord. Free your mind from worries. Live simply. Give more. Take less. So I just thought that was a beautiful reflection as we start this new year, to remember to be grateful and thankful for what's working, and to pray for what's not. So decide to be happy, decide to be holy, decide to be a disciple of Christ, enriching the lives of others today and every day. So that's what I got this morning for this new year. Again, it's great to be back. Greg will be here tomorrow for coffee and conversation, and just remember that it's great to step into your calling and to not play small, because God designed us to be His light and to be a big light in the world. So thanks for joining me this morning. Peace be with you and make it a great day. Bye.